I put my whole investing account into one stock, Tesla. Before you say anything, it went up. I actually made money.
Sit down, son. Put the phone down.
See, this is the face. This is the exact face you make right before a napkin comes out.
Hand me the napkin.
It's up 18%, Pops. In 2 months. If I'd done your boring thing, the big fund, I'd have made, 3%? I beat you.
How much did you put in?
All of it. $3,200.
That's your savings. That's your whole cushion.
It's my investing money. I'm 26, Pops. I'm supposed to take some risk while I'm young.
There's taking risk, and there's standing in the road hoping the truck swerves. Those aren't the same thing.
But it went up. You keep skipping that part. I was right.
You were lucky. And I'm real glad it went up, kid. I mean that. But you're telling me you won because the dice landed your way one time, and now you've decided it's a system.
That's not luck. I researched it. I read about the company for weeks.
So did every fellow who ever lost his shirt. Every single one of them had a reason, and the reason felt smart right up until the day it didn't.
Okay, but you got lucky too, Pops. You bought in back in '87 and the market went up for like 30 years. That's not skill. It's being born early. You'd be sitting here saying the same boring stuff either way.
Maybe so. But I never needed the market to do anything fancy. I just needed it to do roughly what it's always done. You need Tesla to do the thing most companies never do, not even once. That's the difference between counting on the weather and counting on one lightning strike.
Okay, fine. So what would you have done with $3,200?
All right, sit down for real. Get a pen. Let me show you the difference between betting on one horse and owning the whole racetrack. There's a word for the thing you didn't do. Diversify. Big, expensive-sounding word. Cost you nothing. Let me take it apart right here on the napkin so it stops sounding like a commercial.
Go ahead, but I still think I was right.
Noted. Pen down. Watch. Diversify. All it means is don't put your money in one thing. Spread it across a whole bunch of things. So when one of them goes bad, and something always goes bad, it can't drag the rest down with it. That's the entire idea. You've heard the saying your whole life, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Fine, but nobody ever bothers to tell you what the basket is.
Okay, so the basket is the stock?
The basket is one company. A stock, that's just a little piece of one company. You own a sliver of Tesla, your money lives and dies with Tesla. One company. One set of decisions, one boss who can wake up and do something foolish on a Tuesday. Now, here's the other basket. There's a thing called an index fund. That's a basket that holds a tiny piece of hundreds of companies all at once. You buy the one basket, you own all of them together. The most common one? The S&P 500. That's just the 500 biggest companies in America bundled up into a single thing you can buy. Get that? And you own a sliver of all 500. Apple and Coca-Cola and 498 more boring ones you never even heard of.
So instead of one egg, I've got 500 eggs.
Now you're getting it. And here's why that little difference is everything. For your Tesla to wipe you out, Tesla just has to have one bad year. For that 500 basket to wipe you out, all 500 companies have to fail at the same time. Sit with how different those two things actually are. Let's do the math, because the math's the part that used to keep me up at night, back when I had it in one place too. Say you got your $3,200, all of it in Tesla. It went up. Great, good for you. Now what happens if it drops by half? You've got 1,600 in 1 year. And that's not me being dramatic. Tesla dropped more than half in a single year, 2022. More than half. Came back later, sure, but for a long stretch there, anybody who was all in just watched half their money disappear and had to sit on their hands and pray.
Okay, but the whole market crashes too, right? Like '08? That wasn't safe either.
Good. That's exactly the right question to ask. Yes, '08, the whole thing dropped near 40%. Scared the hell out of everybody, me included. But here's the difference, and this is the whole ball game. It came back every single time so far. Because for that 500 basket to go to zero and stay there, all 500 companies have to die at once. That's not a stock crash. That's the end of the country. And if that ever happens, your money is the very last thing you'll be worried about.
So a really bad year in the fund is what, 20%?
A normal bad year, around 20. A genuinely ugly one, like '08, closer to 40. But put your 3,200 in that basket, and a normal bad year leaves you about 2560. Same scary headline on the news. The difference is the size of the hole. One hole's a canyon you might never climb out of. The other's a ditch. You wait, you climb out, you keep walking. That right there is the whole difference between gambling and investing. It's not the feeling. It's how deep the hole is on the day you turn out to be wrong.
Quick thing. Pops is sitting here explaining why one stock is a gamble. And look, I learned this lesson the hard way once before. There's a whole story coming where I tell you about the time I watched a stock go from $30 to $1,500 while I sat there waiting for it to get cheaper. It's painful. You're going to love it. Subscribe so you're here when I finally admit it.
$30 to $1,500. And you waited.
We are not doing that one today. Keep going.
Okay, here's my real problem with all this. And I'm not just being difficult. If I'd put that 3,200 in your boring 500 fund, I'd have made way less. Tesla beat the market. Diversifying would have literally cost me money. It honestly kind of feels like a thing for people who are scared.
That's the best argument against me. And I want you to know I hear every word of it. You're right. Spreading out cost you the big win. If you'd nailed it, and you did this time, concentrating made you more money. I'm not going to stand here and lie to your face and say the boring way always makes the most. It doesn't.
So you admit it. I made the smarter move.
I admit you made more. That is not the same thing as smarter. And here's the part nobody ever tells you. You only ever hear about the Teslas. The fella who went all in and won, he tells that story at every barbecue for the next 10 years. The fella who went all in and lost, you never hear from that guy. He's quiet. He's picking up an extra shift. For every story like yours that reaches your ears, there's a whole pile of stories you never hear. You're not getting paid extra for being smart, son. You're getting paid extra for taking a risk you didn't have to take. And most of the time, eventually, that bill comes due.
Okay, that's a pretty grim way to put it. So, half the people I follow who are winning right now, some of them are just the loud survivors, and the rest of them went quiet and I'll never hear about it.
It's an honest way to put it. Ask me how I know about the quiet fella. I worked 45 years. For the first 20 of them or so, right alongside a fella named Dale. Good electrician. Better than me, if I'm being honest with you. And Dale loved the company we worked for. I mean, he loved that place. Every spare dollar he could find, he put straight into the company's own stock, through the plan at work. Said he knew that company better than any stranger in a fancy suit ever could. And you know what? He wasn't wrong about that part. He really did know it inside and out.
Okay, so what happened?
1989. Now, the parent company up in Chicago got into trouble, restructured the whole thing, and the stock that Dale had near $60,000 sitting in, and $60,000 back then was real money. That was a paid-for house. It dropped to almost nothing inside of 1 year. He pulled maybe $11,000 back out of the wreck.
From 60 to 11? God, that's somebody's whole retirement just gone in a year.
From 60 all the way down to 11. And Dale was 58 years old, too old to start over the way he suddenly needed to. Too young to just quit. He worked 7 more years than he ever wanted to. Same paychecks as me, year after year, give or take a little. Same money coming in the door every 2 weeks. Difference is, I spread mine around. A little of our company, sure, but mostly that boring 500 basket I keep telling you about. Dale bet everything on the one place that signed his checks, because he was sure. You know the type, walks right out onto a frozen pond he never once tested, because he just knows the ice'll hold. Knows it right up until the second it doesn't. He was the most sure man I ever met in my life.
Being sure is exactly the thing I just did.
That's why I said sit down.
Okay, so what do I actually do? And don't tell me to just sell Tesla, because I'll get weird about it.
I'm not going to tell you to sell anything. That's your call to make, not mine. I'll just tell you how I'd think about it if I were sitting where you are. First thing, figure out how much of your money is riding on any one single thing. If the honest answer is all of it, then that's the only number you've got to fix. And it doesn't matter one bit whether it's Tesla or a gold coin or your buddy's food truck. All of it in one thing is the problem, not which thing.
So some Tesla is fine, just not all Tesla.
Now you're talking like a grown man. Keep your Tesla if you love it. Just make it a slice, not the whole pie. A little play money off to the side, where if it goes to zero tomorrow, you shrug and go make dinner. That's fine. That's human. I'm not against that. But the bulk of it, the part that's got to be there in 40 years, when you're sitting where I'm sitting, that goes in the boring basket. The one that owns a little of everything, so nothing in particular can ever kill it.
Every finance video I've ever scrolled past has a hot pick in the first 10 seconds. I have never once seen one called Boring Fund Held for 30 Years.
Of course you haven't. Nobody clicks on that one. Those folks have got a stock and a story. What they mostly don't have is 40 years of doing the same dull thing and a paid-off house at the end of it. I started buying that boring fund back in 1987, and I never once sold it. Not in '08, not ever. That's the whole strategy, kid. It is so boring it barely fits inside a video, but it works, and it lets you sleep at night.
So the boring part isn't a bug, it's kind of the whole point.
It's the entire point. You just said in one sentence what it took me 20 years to actually believe. Now, here's the part I don't much like saying out loud. If you do it my way, spread out, boring, slow, you will never have the story. The one at the dinner table about the stock that went up 10 times over and changed your whole life. You give that up. You trade away the dream of the big hit for the near sure thing of getting there slow. For some folks, that bragging right is worth an awful lot to them. I get it. I honestly do. I just never met very many people who got rich chasing the big hit. I met a whole lot more Dales.
That's the first time I've ever heard you admit there's a cost to your own advice.
Of course there's a cost. Anybody who tells you their money plan has no downside at all is selling you something. Mine's got one. It's slow and it's quiet, and nobody ever claps for you. That's the whole price of admission. The market forgives. One stock doesn't.
So that's diversification. Don't bet your entire life on one egg, even if the egg's been real good to you lately. Next time, Pops and I actually go at it. Should you pay off your debt first or start investing while you've still got time on your side? He says one thing, and the math says it depends. It's about the closest the two of us ever get to a real fight at this table. Subscribe, and I'll see you right there.